Bilal Fahim, a technician with the independent Cairo News Company, could not hold back at the courthouse after hearing the sentence handed to his boss.
The courts decided to penalize defendant Nader Gohar, head of the Cairo News Company, by fining him 50,000 Egyptian pounds on the first count and 100,000 on the second. The court has also decided to confiscate his equipment.
The $27,000 fine comes after the state-run Radio and Television Union, the sole official owner of airwaves in Egypt, brought a complaint against veteran broadcaster Nader Gohar in April. Though officially the charges are possession of unlicensed satellite transmission equipment and running an unauthorized communications network, rights activists and the defendant decried the case as yet another attempt to stifle freedom of the press. That is because the complaint was made just a few days after Al Jazeera, which uses CNC as a satellite provider, broadcast images of violent street protests against the president in the Nile Delta.
The Egyptian Radio and Television Union wanted to show that they still have the upper hand and they are in control of any transmission coming out, which this current situation is not. You have internet, you have many ways to transmit, and they have to cope with the new technology in transmission.
For the past 6 months, these offices, once abuzz with employees taking transmission bookings, have been near empty. The company, one of Egypt's top providers, has been gradually laying off its members of staff, and the future of the remaining technicians remains up in the air. Gohar says his operational license has expired last year, but when he wanted to renew it, he was told to wait because new regulations will be issued.
Earlier this year, Egypt co-drafted an Arab League document that further restricted broadcast rights in the Arab world. Media watchdogs say under the new provisions, Egypt has already dropped the signals of 3 channels. Even before that, broadcast journalists operating in Egypt had to apply for a so-called street permit to be able to film at any location. Permission that usually takes weeks to get and lasts for only a short time. Throughout this year, a number of other cases were brought to court against independent newspapers. Last month, a popular anti-regime daily editor was sentenced to 2 months in prison, but President Hosni Mubarak later pardoned him. Mubarak had repeatedly vowed no journalist will be jailed. But despite his assurances, observers and activists say, when it comes to reform in Egypt, it's been 1 step forward, 2 steps back. el-Kahky, Al Jazeera, Cairo.